Welcome to Self-Worth Club, the podcast that empowers you to believe in yourself and your work. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, creative, or simply looking to cultivate greater self-worth, Self-Worth Club is for you. Join us each week as we empower you to believe in yourself and unlock your full potential. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Self-Worth Club. I'm your host, Zoe. Today we're going to be exploring creativity. Did you know that only 1 in 4 people believe they're living up to their own creative potential? Yeah. So if that's you, it's okay. You are not alone. And in this episode, I'm going to help you demystify creativity and show you how you can unlock more of it in your own life. I also recently created a free guide for you on this exact topic, and I'm going to link it in the show notes so you can download it once you're done listening to this episode. It's going to walk you through more different topics than what I'm going to cover today, so they go really well together, and it's all related to creativity and how you can create more of it in your life. So be sure to check that out once you're done here. And first up is, what is creativity? The best definition I found so far is that creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. Creativity is characterized by the ability to perceive the world in new ways, to find hidden patterns, to make connections between seemingly unrelated things, and to generate solutions. Creative thinking is about generating something new. It's not about generating something new from a blank slate, but rather it's about taking what's already present, what's already out in the world, and combining those little bits and pieces in a new way that hasn't been seen before, hasn't been done previously. So again, since I had a little mix up with my words, I want to emphasize it's not about creating something new from a blank slate. It's about coming up with a new idea with what you already have laid out in front of you. So the big question from that is, can creativity be learned? And the short answer is yes. A study that I found by George Land reveals that we are naturally creative, and as we grow, we learn to be uncreative. Creativity is a skill that can be developed and a process that can be managed. Much like confidence, which I'm sure if you're a regular listener, you have heard me talk about this time and time again on the show. I believe that confidence can be learned. There's science behind that too, just like creativity. There are skills you can learn more of. You don't have to be born with it. You don't just have it. You cultivate it. So we're going to get into that today. I want to talk to you next about ways that you can learn to be more creative again. And these are experimenting, exploring, questioning assumptions, using your imagination, and synthesizing information. Now, synthesizing information is basically just a fancy way of saying you take info from multiple sources and you bring it together, combining it to create one cohesive idea. And that's basically what I do when I write my podcast scripts for all of you. It's a mixture of my own thoughts, experiences, stories, knowledge, plus the stories, research, and thoughts of others that I find and combine for you to create one cohesive episode and give you all this pouring of knowledge into one 15-minute stint. So next, here are some important concepts that should help you grasp more of creativity and that it's a skill and be able to cultivate it in your own life. 1, learning to be creative is similar to learning a sport. It requires practice to develop the right muscles and a supportive environment where you can really flourish. You need the same things for creativity. 2, creativity is a practice. Really want to emphasize that. If you practice enough, you will build the skill. And using these 5 discovery skills that I'm about to walk you through every single day, you're going to develop that skill of creativity like nothing else. and you're going to be so much more innovative and creative. So here are the 5 discovery skills. Number 1, associating. This is drawing connections between questions, problems, or ideas from unrelated fields. Number 2, questioning. This is posing questions that challenge common wisdom. 3, observing. This involves scrutinizing the behavior of your customers, suppliers, competitors, and taking that to identify new ways of doing things. Number 4 is networking. This is just meeting new people with different ideas and perspectives. And number 5 is experimenting. Constructing interactive experiences and provoking unusual responses to see what insights might come out of it. Studies by Clayton Christensen and his researchers uncovered something called the innovator's DNA, which says that your ability to generate innovative ideas is not merely a function of our mind, but a function of those key behaviors that I just listed that optimize your brain for discovery. Pretty cool, huh? And I think another big factor for cultivating more creativity within yourself is to not judge yourself for any ideas that you come up with. That inner critic in your mind is going to try to squash all of your ideas, and it's always going to come up with reasons why you can't do something or it's already been done. But again, like I said in the beginning, this isn't about starting from a blank slate. This isn't about creating something that's literally never existed before. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're just creating a better one, you know? So you can't let it stop you. Absolutely not. Like, that's the biggest hurdle that I see with a lot of my clients is that inner voice is negative. It's pushing them down. It's causing them to second guess themselves, putting a lot of what if scenarios in their head. And you do not need that. That is going to completely squash your creativity. So for the sake of your creativity and your overall happiness, you have to learn to control the inner critic in your head. Not every creative idea that you come up with is going to be a good one, and that's okay. If you're afraid of failing or having a bad idea, you're never going to come around to a better one. That's just life. That's just what we do as humans. To learn to walk, you fell a million times. You crawled. You couldn't even lift your head at first. Like, there's a process to everything. Don't forget that. So you need to stop judging your ideas as you go, and instead, the next time that you're brainstorming for something, just write down as many possible ideas as you can, and after you're done, go back and pick through ideas and find the good ones. And you might even find that ideas you thought were silly or bad at first become amazing ideas when you pair them with another. That's the creative process. And you're never going to know about that pair if you erase that crazy idea right off the bat because you judge yourself for it. And I want to leave a side note here. If you need help with your inner critic, that's a topic that I'm very, very well versed on, and I help so many clients with. And it's actually something that I cover in depth in my upcoming group program, which starts November 1st. So if you're listening to this before then, or even before October 15th, early bird pricing is still happening between now and October 15th, and it gives you $100 off. And for podcast listeners, I'm giving an extra 10 on top of that 10%. So the goal in the program, I want it to be so accessible for everyone. Like, I'm not charging a lot for this at all. It's an 8-week program. I want it to be so value-packed, info-packed that you come away thinking, like, how the hell did I spend that money and get all of this in return? Like, it's so much more than I ever thought that I could come out of this with. Like, that's what I want you to feel. You know, I want you to be like, this is a gold mine. I want to help you get from stuck to unstoppable. So DM me on Instagram if you're wanting more information on that. I also have a link in my bio if you want to just go ahead and sign up. I am capping it at probably 10 or 15 people because I want to keep it small and intimate, even though it's a group. I want to be able to really help you guys with your individual problems. So back to it. Mixing and matching old ideas, right? This is a great place to find your best ideas. And an idea is nothing more and nothing less than a new combination of old elements. Take anything you can, mutate it, clone it, combine it until you have something creative that you can call your own, something that you're proud of, something you're like, oh, this is a good idea. People need this. It takes time, okay? Remember that. And you don't need to think of this as stealing. If you're thinking of like, oh, I love what this person did and this person did, and you're combining different elements and aspects, like, this is just how art begins. I'm going to give you some examples. The Rolling Stones mixed Delta blues with English rock and roll and combined it to create their own style. William Faulkner, the Nobel Prize winning author, he took James Joyce's flowing, heady style and combined it with the spiritual and racial history of his home in the American South. And then Cubism, the art that Picasso used. That developed from experiments with Impressionism and the stylized masks of African and Asian sculpture. So these are all huge, famous examples of people who took inspiration from things that already existed, created their own thing, and made it something beautiful, something new, something innovative. You can do that too. And that's a wrap for today. We have explored the incredible world of creativity and how it can be harnessed to unlock more innovation in your life, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to grab your free guide. I'm linking it in the show notes so you can unlock more creativity. This is a super valuable resource. I'm walking you through more concepts related to creativity. It's going to be different than this, and they're going to have some processes and guides where I specifically walk you through like writing things out, grabbing a pen and paper, and doing activities. So it's super helpful. Let me know what you think of that. And remember, creativity is your birthright. You have the power to tap into it, to nurture it, and let it shine in every aspect of your life. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep creating, keep innovating, and keep striving for greatness. You are so worthy of it all. Bye. P.S. If you love the vibes here and got something out of listening today, please screenshot and share on your story. I'd love to be tagged and hear your thoughts. My Instagram for the pod is @_selfworthclub.